Hey guys, well here we go, about to set off on a 10-day drone fishing trip to Fraser Island. We're all set, a few rods up on top, the camper holding everything including the kitchen sink. It's about a 4.5 hour drive to get to Inskip Point where we'll stay tonight, and then we'll cross first thing in the morning over on the Manta Ray ferry from Inskip over to Fraser. I think from there it's about an hour and a half up to the campsite that we've picked. So yeah, look, it's pretty exciting. Young fellas coming with me. A few of the other guys from the ADA Darling Downs branch are joining us. Can't go deer hunting down in Victoria at the moment, so we decided to do a Fraser trip instead. So anyway, stay tuned. We're going to get on the road. Fucking really looking forward to it. So cheers. Well, here we are, Inskip Point. Oh, hey Bubby. 4.5 hour drive to Inskip Point. That took probably 7 hours by the time we had a false start and had to go back for something. A shit stop for the child. An ice cream stop, something for lunch, another poo break. And then I think we stopped for a pie, some fuel, some bait. 7.5 hours later, here we are on one of the most primo beaches in Australia, Inskip Point. No one anywhere near me. Oh, there's a dude. And it's amazing. And that's Fraser Island. So all I've got to do is get from here to here in the morning, and then we'll be in fishing paradise. I hear that the Spanish Macs are going batshit crazy for the tailor, so the drone will drop the baits over the back. Hopefully it'll hook up on some big shit, and it'll make for some cool videos. Anyway, sorry for all you fellas that got to work. I am on 8 or 9 days R&R. Fraser Island, bloody wet. Alright, here's some of Ian's tips as I'm driving up the beach. So I'm driving a Ranger PX3 and I'm towing an off-road camper trailer. So a couple of things that are worth noting when you're driving on sand. First one is tyre pressures. Tyre pressures are everything. something, boat, whatever, you want to try and match your tyre tracks up, and you can do that with wheel spaces and things like that. But what you don't want to be doing is dragging your trailer through a brand new set of tracks. It wants to glide over the ones the car made, and that way it's less resistance on everything, and it's a whole lot easier. So that's another just a good setup tip. So the next thing is, you got a whole lot of electronics in your cars these days, so there's a few things that you should do to make your life easier. Obviously, four-wheel drive is one thing. Yourself in four-wheel drive, just having fun. Four-wheel drive is obviously a major item, but you've also got things like diff locks and traction controls. So most beach driving, especially on Fraser, a low four-wheel drive, four high in a low gear is all you need, and you just poke along. If you want to rip into it, it'll just burn heaps of fuel, so you just want to find that happy medium and just cruise along nicely. Two extra buttons that I've got in my car, one of them is traction control. Now traction control is one of those things that you want to turn off. It's designed to help you on the road, but it's no good in the sand. So traction control, you basically just fight against the car the whole way, use more fuel and have a shittier time of driving. So turn that off when you get on the sand. There's another idea. And then if you're going to get into some really hairy spots, you might as well just whack your And because we're on Fraser, we put an electric fence around the camp, just because we've got a 2-year-old here and keeps the dingoes. Kitchen, gardening area, it's a bed, and the ensuite. Everything you need for a stay away.
Wow. That went Friday. So we got in Thursday to Winskip Point and set up our camp in the dark. It was just a quick overnighter before the ferry, and that worked out pretty well, but it smashed out overnight. Rain and rain and rain, super heavy. And I was watching the weather radar. There was like a little opening in the rain that sat right over top of us for 25 minutes, so we got up, quickly packed up, got our shit together and off to the barge. That was good because we managed to get that packed up without having to do it in the rain, although all our shit was wet. That's right. And we got into Fraser, cruised up the beach, found a campsite, found a really nice campsite, so that's good. But then it rained. We just managed to have camp set up, and then it rained, and then it rained, and it rained. It's monsoonal. It did forecast for rain. I just didn't expect it to be just continuous. Rain at home, you get a massive deluge, and then it's gone. Well, here it's just a massive deluge all day. We managed to fill up 50, 60 litres of water jerry cans just off drips off the tarps and shit, which is good. And went to bed last night. Rained and smashed us around all night. Super windy. And here we are, 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Forecast is for rain, more rain. So the forecast has changed. It's only supposed to be showers. I'm hoping it holds the forecast. I think the forecast said rain in the morning to clear. So fingers crossed that happens. We'll all go mad sitting in tents in the rain when we should be fishing. Anyway, what do you reckon about my mate? Just hanging out. The surf is so loud. I would have thought for a young fella it was going to be scary.
Winya Creek. Right, car set up. Check this out. That's where we come in. So this is the fishing rods, that there somewhere. There. So this is the western side of the island. From the Mahino, the track across takes about an hour. It's about 30 k's to zip across the four-wheel drive track. Easy four-wheel driving. Could have towed a camper trailer, no sweat, which is something I wasn't sure of, but I wanted to come over here just to make sure we could do it next time. A few campers. Got to cross the tidal stream, so you can't stay too long after low tide, maybe an hour, otherwise you'll end up crossing a stream that is full of salt water, which is not very cool. Anyway, that's us. So we came back from Winya, which has to be the most picturesque spot I've found on Fraser Island. Looks amazing, but there are a bunch of eggs hanging out there, ripping the sand up, so we didn't stay long. You can also only stay there when it's low tide, unless you plan on staying the whole time, because you've got to cross a creek. And the creek on low tide is outgoing fresh water, and on the incoming tide is incoming salt water, and you don't really want to drive through that. So anyway, that's Winya. A little spot behind me. So we're now at a place that, if I pronounce it right, is Wirralli, which is a little bit further south. We took the inland road back and then came back out to the western coast, and this is Wirralli. It's stunning, beautiful spot. We're not far off where the track came up, just here. We only came down the beach about 100 metres, and we've been catching bream and dart. We've got a couple of longer lines out there trying to find something a bit bigger, but not to be right now. We'll see. But anyway, good spot. Safer for the kids here than the other side of Fraser. There's only been one car come past us all day, as opposed to the other side where you'd have 300 cars pass you in a day. So you're always watching young fella, making sure he's all right. But right now, he's here. He can run backwards and forwards across that, pick up his fishing rod, have a good time. And yeah, mint spot. We'll be back. We're still here for another week. So we'll be back here a couple of times over the next week, just to see if we can suss out the fishing, see if we can catch anything decent. But right now we've run from a low tide to about half tide. Probably won't stay here too much longer, because we'll get back to camping. See what the west coast with the tailor are doing. Anyway, the update from today. You got a fish, mate? It's your first fish. Keep it coming, buddy. Yeah, perfect, okay. Look, the fish! You got one! It's a good one! Keep winding! Keep winding! Yeah, let's do another one.
Day 3, Saturday. Holy shit. All I can say is thank God we've got a camper and it doesn't leak much. We've had five of us crammed in here pretty much all day. It's been monsoonal, crazy rain. But it sort of stopped late yesterday.
Woken up to a dry day. I heard a bit of rain at about 3 o'clock this morning, but today we are fishing, or exploring at least. Not sure what the wind's like down on the beach yet for the drone, but we'll see. Anyway, so that was day 3. We're into day 4. Sunday, the 13th of September. You reckon, Zave?
Yeah.
Good, eh? What are we going to do today?
Fishing.
Yeah, fishing. day today. Like all pack-up days, they're sad days. Anyway, took us a couple of hours to pack up camp. Filled some fish, well I fill it in the scale and clean some fish and get them ready to go. And now we're on the slow march down the beach